Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hania Bomba-Wilhelmi. I'm CEO from REWE Consulting. I have the honor to co-host the next presentation and the discussion. In the German-speaking countries and in the countries REWE is covering and active, it's one of the most important players in the retail business. So I'm very delighted to have the member of the board here, Janusz Kulik. Before he starts with his presentation, I would like to say only 2 sentences about REWE Consulting. Well, we are a retail consultancy company, and we are working for about 30 years for international retailers, and our core competence is the analysis of consumer and retail formats. We develop together with developers retail real estates, and we are a consultancy for banks or financing institutes if they should buy the shopping centers other developers are developing. Well, after the presentation from Janusz, we will have, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something for a discussion, and you have the possibility to ask questions. So, Janusz, may I invite you on stage to start with your presentation?
So thanks for applause, even if I didn't say no one word. I suppose for most of you it's quite problematic to come at 12 o'clock where everybody in France right now have a lunchtime. So it's actually something like a penalty for most of you. Just you have to hear it what I want to say. So I will try to be as short as possible. And later on, if someone have any questions, of course I'm open to ask to answer for the questions which has been asked. And after that, like Hannah already said, we'll have something like a small talk between us about the eventual questions which comes from the side of REWE. Shortly to introduce myself, like Hannah already said, my name is Janusz Kulik. I'm the member of the board of the REWE International. REWE is a part of the group, REWE Group, which is the German company. So we are mostly working in the German, Austria, and Central Eastern Europe countries. And like you see on the figures, we are the company which is doing around 50 billion euro with almost 330,000 employees, and we have over 15,000 stores. Like I said, the international business is managed from Austria, from Vienna. And this is the part of the business which is doing around 13 billion of euro turnover per year, where we have almost 76,000 employees, and we have over 3,100 stores which are operating in Austria and Central, Eastern, and South of Europe, because Italy is also in a part of our responsibility. I don't know, probably some of you which has a chance to be in Austria for skiing or whatever, or to see how beautiful Vienna is. Probably you saw somewhere on the corner we have stores with the different brands. The first brand for the supermarket is our Billa. This is our basic business, not only for Austria but also for our CE countries. The Merkur is something like, compact hyper, let's say. So the sales area between 2,000 to 4,000 square meter. The ADEX stores, they are the franchising system. That means they are the wholesale franchising. Also the supermarket, they are in the franchisers connected with us. We have a discounter which called Penny. We have a drugstore which called the BIPA. And we have also another part of generally importance of REWE, that means the touristic business. Because from this 50 billion euro, which I mentioned on the beginning, almost 25% it comes from touristic business. So we are not only a retailer in the food business, but we are also selling quite good touristic offer. Like I said shortly, number of the stores is over 3,100. From that, the stores in the CE and then Italy, we have 820. It was the actual end of October, so quite fresh number of stores. Shortly about the expansion strategy. So, because I had already many of the questions about it. What is really the supermarket actually means? Means the store which has a 3,000 square meter, or means the stores which has a 300 square meter? Because actually almost everybody on almost everything what sells the food, it's calling supermarket, which is not always the true. Just shortly, how we understand the supermarket concept, they have to be on the sales area on a level between 600 to 1,200 square meter. Because there is the sales area which gives us the chance and possibility to show the competence of the supermarket business, which have to be differentiated from the other concept like discounter, like hyper. Of course, the basic priority in the expansion strategy, this is be as close as possible to the customer, because I strongly believe that the big sales areas, especially which are put it standalone, not really next to the customer, has not so much future in the for them. So, is it all shopping mall or commercial center with a big format, or you have to be the smaller and you have to be next to the customer? Because I will explain a little bit later on about some, at least in our case. About the trend of the customer, what they are doing, what they want, and how they want to search the products. You will see that very easy, that the stores which are not convenient for the customers, they have no future. So even if they're excellent, they have a lot of parking places, they have excellent access with the car, and so on and so on. They say year per year, the number of the customer is decreasing, because the customer wants to buy, especially when we are talking about the food business, the customer wants to buy something which is next to their place where they are living or working. Of course, there's a choice between the two different way of shopping. Like I said, the few trends which we are as a retailer facing right now, based on the experience which we have in our company. Of course, the changes. Everybody is saying change management, we have to change, we are changing, we are relaunching. So when you are talking not only to the retailer, but also the many of the company, everybody is almost, and every second word is about the changes which are done. Of course, the changes are necessary, but also for the customer have to be clear what we, as a retailer, what we want to present to the customer and what we want to sell to the customer. So the changes have to be oriented only on the one target. Or our customer is satisfied from our changes or not. And this is for us the basic success criteria, because if the changes are done only for this, that everybody is happy, especially the management, that yes, we did some new changes which no one understands what we want, this is not really the success story. But if the customer accepting that's what we are doing in our stores, this is exactly the success criteria which has been fulfilled. Of course, today's customer are more and more oriented on that being time efficiency. Of course, the mobility, it's very important. Enjoyment orientation, quality consciousness, inclusiveness, price orientation, depends on the country, depends on the customer group, but normally the price orientation is also extremely important. And of course, last but not least, the sustainability. So I put it sustainability as a last point because this is actually the point which I want to discuss or explain a little bit deeper, because the sustainability is one of the bases which is important for us as a retail group. And we believe strongly that long-term sustainability, it also will be understood by our customer, and this sustainability strategy will give us as a company and our shareholder, of course, will give us the long-term sustainable profit, which is, of course, the main target of every company. We are created to earn money. Of course, the question of time efficiency, I only got some of the examples. The first of all, it's unbelievable growth of the convenience range of products. I mean, 10 years ago, most of the people, I'm still talking, about our countries, most of the people say, okay, we have a time, we can cook in the home, we can easily get the products, go to the supermarket, cook everything home, and it was an excellent way. And even in Central Eastern Europe was even more developed because it was in a very family model. So, buying, cooking, and staying together. Right now, the situation, due to the different changes which has been made also in the population, the new generation is working longer, has a much less time for these things. So, of course, the convenience is growing very fast. Of course, the second part is the goods somehow have to be available. There is a small difference between Western and Eastern Europe. So in Western Europe, you do not have a chance to buy the products in Sunday. In Eastern Europe, we are open 7 days, 24 hours. So actually, the products are always available for the customer. So actually, especially this format with the small stores on the gas station, which could be open on Sunday, it's, of course, in Western Europe very successful. The question of time efficiency, of course, is a question also of the different technology, which from one side doing us lucky because we can read our emails everywhere, we can make our notices everywhere, our smartphones, our iPads, always with us. On the other side, of course, everybody of us has to be has to be clear about it. This is the way of being the modern slaver, nothing more. And of course, we are using this for the CRM, for the customer relationships management with us. The second trend, mobility, is an absolute must. So alternative forms of payment, the alternative forms of distribution of the products. This is so-called the modern word, multi-channeling, how we can split our business between online, offline. Of course, we are working on this. Of course, we are giving this to the customer. But still, the most of the customer wants to come to the store, wants to buy the products, wants to see the products, and wants to be actually, very strongly connected with this, what they are buying. Next point, the enjoyment orientation. I mean, 20 years ago, the supermarket was actually very easy store, which has some shelf, some cooling shelves, and that's all. Right now, the customer are expecting more and more something like enjoyment. Coming to the supermarket, somehow I have to be, surprising by the retailer. And it's not the expectation concerning the discounter, it's expectation concerning the supermarket. So we have some stores in Austria, but not only in Austria, where we have, let's say, this normal level of enjoyment we put on the very, very high level and upgrade it for the customer. So this is something almost, from my point of view, looks like, buying temple already. Interesting is, but the customer are accepting this, even if it's not really. I mean, if you compare this supermarket with something which you saw 10 years ago, on the first, when you are coming, for example, to the Merkur, which is in Vienna, in Hohe Markt, if you ever will have a chance to be in Vienna, I'm more than welcome you. So first, what you will meet on the entrance is not the question that you see, okay, the entrance to the store. What you meet, it will be the concierge, which inviting you for making the shopping, enjoying for the shopping. Of course, you have to pay for this enjoyment. This is very clear. But this is already the different way to contact the customer. We did it, of course, also in the Central Eastern Europe. We have some of the stores in Sofia, in Moscow, in Kiev, where you can see this enjoyment on the very high level. But of course, no one of the retailer could be developed only in this way. It's most of them just to keep the customer happy, that we have also something which is much above the normal way of the supermarket. The next trend, the quality. I did it on the base of the brand, which is in Austria #1, actually created by us, which called Sehr Natürlich. It means the brand which we say, oh, yes, of course, and this is the brand in the private label which has right now 50% of the level of the turnover of the whole private label in Austria. And interesting is in Austria, when we made the brand awareness checking, so the brand awareness of the Ja Natürlich is higher than brand awareness Coca-Cola. I suppose this is the only one country where the Coca-Cola is below something like, private brand, private label brand in the one of the country. Of course, quality in the CE countries become extremely important. Not in every country is on the same level, but of course, Czech Republic and Slovakia, which starts to be very close to the Western culture of eating, buying, and shopping, become extremely important. So you see some examples, how we are developing the local, regional, country products, which gives the customer the view, okay, this is the company which does not really try to buy the cheapest product and sell to us with the highest margin, but also trying to support and develop the local supplier, and also trying to show us the local bio products, because so far in Eastern Europe was like this, that the bio is always connected with the Western Europe. So, I mean, in Eastern Europe, everything what we have it was something like a product of the second category, which is not anymore the case. Service and expert advice. We are developing, of course, still the upgraded brands. For example, this is the one point which you can also see in Austria. This is the best from the best. This concerns the meat. This is really the best meat which you can eat. Of course, we are strongly concentrated on the local supplier. So we are trying to show to the customer you can get the highest quality from the best producer from your country. But also another way, like for example, styling lounges in our BIPA store. So you can not only buy the drugs, but you can also be served fully from your style advisor. Interesting in Merkur, in our compact hypers, let's say, we can make something like literature testing. So that means you can buy the books. You can also hear when the books are read by the very famous actor, and this is connected with the enjoyment of the products which are in the store. Service and expert advice again. There are the guarantees which we are giving, fresh or free of charge. So that means if you by coincidence find the products which is not keeping our guarantees, we will exchange without any discussion. You don't have to stand in the line. The satisfaction or replacement, so we are not discussing with the customer, yeah, you are satisfied, no, I'm not satisfied. If the customer are coming, okay, I don't like this product, we are exchanging without any discussion. Everything from the leaflet is always there. Of course, value for money, the trend number 6, which I meant, gains much more importance. We have a lot of examples. We have our customer card. We have our price entry group of the products which are guaranteed for the customer. Then nowhere is cheaper, and this brand called Clever. And if you don't mind, I will let you, if it's working. I don't think so. Can we just switch on this movie right now, or it's impossible? No, I don't think so. It's possible. Okay, the trend number 7, that means sustainability. This was what I mentioned in the beginning. For us, as a group, as a REWE group, as one of the biggest European retailer, the sustainability is actually extremely important part of our business. And this is not only the question short-term trend. We believe strongly that this is really very long-term strategy. And this is based on the 4 pillars. The first of all, it's green products, so sustainable product range, active promotion of the products, energy and climate environment, employees, and social involvement. I will shortly explain all of them. The green products, it's actually very clear. We are concentrating on the organic food or sustainable products, local, regional, and very important is, of course, there is no compromises concerning the quality of the products. Energy and climate environment, we are of course developing our very efficient energy green building. We as a company, we just 3 years ago say ourselves, without waiting for the climate organization or any other protocols to sign it, that we are reducing as a group 30% our CO2 emission. And we are of course saving our resources. What about employees? We strongly believe that we have the best employees, of course, like every of the company wants to have the best employees because they are really making the difference between us and the competition. The rest is actually easy to copy, whatever products or whatever shelves you have it. This is question of time when you can copy this. But the employees, this is something what is for us extremely important. So we are making the development plan. We are taking really very seriously and strongly about the health promotions in our company. This is from the one side, of course, we are taking care about the employee. From the other side, it's very clear. The employees which are satisfied and healthy, they are working much more efficient. They are not staying on the sickness leaves. We are investing a lot of money in the education of our employees. And of course, we are showing very clearly that we are a social-oriented company. We are supporting many of the projects and social initiatives, and we are cooperating long-term with NGOs, with non-governmental organizations. We are developing our own brands. ProPlanet is, for example, one of the examples that we are developing our own products where we are from the beginning 100% controlling how the products are produced, who is working there, and we can guarantee to the customer that they are really natural products, not something like, I'm not talking about the genetical modification, but anyhow, the products are not modified. They are 100% guarantee from us the organical growth. Example from Austria about the efficiency. You see we have over 500 efficiency stores. We are also strongly supporting the e-mobility. We have our own company where we are renting the cars, so whenever you are landing in Vienna airport, you can rent from us the car to go, and you will know that you are taking care about the environment. Of course, also in CE, we are developing this project. We have a lot of bio projects, and we are working this mostly in the Billa Czech Republic and the Billa Slovakia. We have over 65% of the national products. This become to be extremely important trend in the retail. So the customer wants to be sure that the products which are buying, they are not supporting other country. They are produced in the country and they are supporting the local producers, the local companies, and of course the local economy. Good example for CE. We will be the company which will open the first green certificated green building in Kiev. It will be in the beginning of the next year. Will be opened. So whenever you will come to Kiev, you can see the first certificated green building of Billa supermarket store. Of course, we are also asking our employee to support the others. And especially the Russian organization, the Billa in Russia, the people are very open for this, and they are doing this really without any asking from our side how to support the other part of the society, which has a little bit less money and less possibility to develop themselves. We are, for example, from the every sold bag, we are giving almost $1 million every year as a donation for the poor people. I hope was not so boring and was not so long. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, thank you, Janusz. Feel free to join the discussion and to ask questions. Just make signs for me that I can give you the microphone. What is very interesting for me is the issue multi-channel. We were talking in the morning. I know you're a fan of the multi-channel issue. So for me, it's important because many of our clients are focusing this, I would say, tornado right now. And you are one of the, or you are a very experienced company, and you are working already with multi-channel formats in Austria and so ever. So I would like to know what you think about this online or multi-channel trends and how you are dealing with it as REWE. You know, it was only one slide for you, but I think it's quite a nice issue.
I mean, I already shortly mentioned due to my presentation, yes, multi-channeling is one of the extremely important trend. We are food provider, and multi-channeling in food is so far not so developed like multi-channeling or e-commerce and online business in the non-food divisions. Most of you can remember, you know, in the beginning of 2000 we have another extremely important trend. It was everything which calls .coms, which has growing very fast and then, you know, dying not even faster. Multi-channeling, of course, has a future. It's not a question at all. And in some of the businesses or some of the retail businesses, the multi-channeling could be even, I don't know, over 50% of the total income. But I strongly believe that multi-channeling in the food retail will grow slower, will be very important. That is not the point. There's not a question at all. We see also in our business that, you know, the customer step by step ordering the products online. They're getting the products online.
Do you see differences between countries?
Actually, it's difficult to say about the big differences between the countries. But of course, there are some of the countries which are much more open for buying food on the online, and the other countries which are, let's say, less open for the buying the
And which are more open and which are less open?
The German-speaking countries, let's say Austria and Germany, the people need much more time to be convinced, yes, I can buy food online. Non-food is not the problem. Touristic is not the problem. Everything, but you know, the food which I always had on my corner supermarket or any other business where I always bought my food, right now just to click online and to get the food, this is also the culture changes.
Mm-hmm. But you have not only food, you also have drugstore, as you said, you have Billa, and you are very successful, as I know, with your multi-channel strategy with Pipa, sorry.
Yeah,
it was Pipa.
You probably saw it. We have also drugstore chain in Austria where we're the number one. We have 670 stores, BIPA. So
how are you approaching the strategy? Because, you know, you can't say, I have an online store and this is my multi-channel strategy, and you are successful. So what is the key thing for others to copy maybe from you, or to...
Luckily, it's not so easy to copy it, so it's not something that you like to say, what is my key success factor. Of course, in the case of Austria, the BIPA, the main success factor is a question of trust. That means if the company has this in the country like Austria with 8.5 million inhabitants, 670 stores, and the stores are every corner. So that means, you know, the trust for the company is already there. So actually,
well, we had a similar company. I think they called Schlecker and then Daily, and they had many stores.
Yeah, but the Schlecker is already not anymore there. It's already
so it's not only bankrupt. The point to be everywhere.
No, it's a question also. We are very successful in the offline business, and we are right now started to make the online business in the drugstore, and the drugstore business is working very well, developing much faster than we suspected on the beginning. But it's still, this is completely different business than the food retail. Logistic processes, ordering processes, trust question, there's in online non-food completely different than online food. And of course, we as a group, we are working on the online business on the food. We are developing this, but we strongly believe that the online people are thinking different, and that's why, for example, we decided to make the different business unit, which is responsible for the whole online business in the whole our group, because this is the different way of making business. Is a different way of projecting the processes, and also is the different way of delivering to the customer the products. Because especially if you are ordering the fresh food, this is something which becomes extremely complicated, because the question of time, the question of temperature, the question of different perception of the quality from the customer where you are delivering. So this is a very complicated and complex story.
I think that this is a very very important issue, because what we see is that many companies are saying, okay, John and Mary, they've done expansion until now, and now John and Mary are doing multi-channel, and they are doing the online shop, and they develop our multi-channel strategies. And this is a special thing that you say, that you have a special development unit at REWE. They are this is not only to people who are experimenting in the online business. Who is working in this? How did you pick up the people who are working in this business unit?
Yeah, let's say this business unit is managed by the person which is experienced in online business since few years.
Okay.
So of course we bought this know-how from the market. We say, okay, the biggest sickness which we as a retailer always have, we think we are expert, we think we know everything better. So this is the worst case which could be. So we say, okay, let's leave it in the hand of the guys which really knows how the online business is working. So we as a experienced retail people, we will not have so much influence on this. Let them work and let them show us, let's say, how it should be, how it should work. That the online way of thinking and working with the offline 75 years experience, and then to build something which really could be long-term sustainable for the company as a very important part of our business.
We were talking also about markets and the time for markets to develop a multi-channel strategy, to develop online shops, and to give to people the opportunity to buy even the food online. How do you divide the markets from the matureness for the online business? You said the Germans in Germany and in Austria, it is developing very well, this online business also in food, as far as I know. And what about Poland, or what about Czech Republic or Slovakia? Are they also mature for such formats?
The first question is, of course, to be online, you need the internet. This is actually the first condition, and this is not in all our CE countries, is not everywhere the case. So that means the infrastructure is growing every year very fast, but it's still, there's a lot of places where the internet connection is not really the best developed. The second one, of course, the online business in the big cities is not a problem at all. So you can do it from today till tomorrow, and it's working and it's growing in every big city in our CE countries. But out of this big city where the buying power is different, where the logistics costs are much higher, and so on. So this is still let's say, another few years until the online business will be so good developed like the offline business today.
Okay, so you are testing on the bigger cities right now.
Of course.
Please feel free to ask questions. If you do not have questions, maybe I leave this online multi-channel issue and ask about one question about the change in food formats. Because in the CE countries, there are many hypermarkets which are not so convenient anymore. So what do you think? What are the possibilities for the owners or for the developers to change this standalone hypers? Is the only possibility to blow them up, or what could they do?
I mean, luckily it's not our problem, but I suppose all the hypermarkets provider which has their stores standalone could see how the situation has been changed between the opening of their stores in the middle of 90s and the situation right now in 2013, where actually the big shopping malls, the entertainment centers and so on, they are next to the customer. They are giving much wider offer for the customer, and of course they are getting the interest of the customer. So from my point of view, in the future it will be like this, that shopping malls and a big let's say entertainment center where the food provider also is there, and supermarket and discounters has a future. But what will happen with the hypers, which are staying alone right now? Typical standalone hyper was the only hyper offer, nothing more. I don't believe that it has any future. Maybe the option will be just decrease the sales area from 15,000, let's say, to 8 or 7,000, and the rest to make the mini gallery or mini shopping mall or whatever, just or some services for the customer, just to make it more attractive. But it's, I suppose, every of the owner of this kind of the location have to ask this question.
But when you are entering right now countries like Russia, like Ukraine, you are entering definitely with smaller formats.
Yeah, we are developing our supermarket format where we say, okay, the best option is between 600 square meter sales area until 1,200 square meter sales area. This is the best store, and there's the location where we can be really next to the customer. We are, of course, in some of the commercial center, in Prague, in Bratislava, in Moscow, in Kiev, and so on. But this is rather, exception than the mainstream trend.
Do you have differences between the formats in these countries, within these countries? Like you have a very exclusive format with Villa Corso, or
no, we are a typical supermarket, so we are not making the, let's say, different formats. We don't want to make our business more complex. So we just only say for the special location we are making some upgrade from the assortment, and we are making some upgrade from some of the furniture. But it's not something like that we are doing something like completely different format, which say, okay, upgraded format for the capital cities or whatever. So this is typical supermarket, no more.
Are there any questions? Okay, I will give you the microphone so the others can hear. Thank you.
Hello. I would be interested the size of a supermarket, of a Billa supermarket. You said is 600 to 1,200 square meters.
Sales area.
And in Germany we have the typical supermarket starts at 1,200, and 600 is even very small for a discounter. So you have different sizes in Germany, Austria, Poland,
yes,
Czech Republic, and so on.
Of course, we have a lot of stores which are over 1,000. I mean, actually, the 1,200 or 1,200, it's perfect area for us, for our concept. 1,500, this is already okay, but there you have to show the much more assortment, sometimes also the non-food too, which is, let's say, not always our competences. Yes, but you are right. In Germany, our supermarket has between 1,500 to 2,500 square meter and so on.
Can you give him the?
Yes.
So you have less products.
We have less non-food, but the food number of products is more or less on the same number of SKU.
Question answered. Okay.
Hello, Stefan Kupani from Daikin Europe, air conditioning company. You talked about sustainability being a key point of your development, sustainability, and I would like to know, especially about green building, let's say, area, if you have a direction or you want to move towards CO2, for example, systems, or if you have any let's say, a clear direction in terms of green building applications within REWE Group?
Actually, it's not like this that we will build only green buildings. This is clear because that have to be also what?
No, you should.
No. we will not build, let's say, only green building, because it is difficult also to finance this. But we are doing in every our new investment, in every our new building, everything possible from the technical point of view to reduce the reduce of CO2 to, let's say, to fulfill the all possible green building expectations. But you know, the green building certification, this is a checklist of 280 points, which you cannot fulfill every time, especially if you are going to the existing building. So you cannot destroy this building. You have to adapt to your existing situation. So you have to do everything what is possible to be, let's say, quasi on the green checklist which we have it internal in the company. But yes, you are right. In the company, we are doing everything to be with our investment as close as possible to the green building.
Okay. Do you have research about the food store 2025?
Yeah, but I forgot my glass box with me to take it.
Okay.
But I can close the eyes and I can say
but you know in which direction you are going. You are saying that it's more convenient. You have a concierge and whatsoever. I don't believe that we have a concierge at the penny format because, you know.
No.
But you know how the trends are, where we are going. What is your direction?
Yeah. The vision is very clear. You know, people wants to live better than today. So our vision is, you know, working together for better life of our customer and our employee. So this is everything what we are doing right now. So this is our vision that in 25 or the 20 years from now, everybody of us, that means, you know, we as a retailer and our customer wants to live better than today.
Okay, but you don't have the vision of you have less products, you have only bio products.
This is not the vision. This is the tactic, which is actually, you know, could be changed every year. You know, less or more products depends on the situation. Of course, that will be some of the trends, like, you know, sustainable products, local product, convenience. They will grow. This is not a question at all. That we don't need any, you know, extraordinary science for this. But what will really happen in 20 years from now with the whole retail is difficult to say today, because if you will be back in the beginning of 90s, did someone could say that, you know, many of the non-food provider, which right now are bankrupt or already close to the bankruptcy, they've been in the beginning of 90s an excellent growing retailers, because, you know, online business in that case was almost nothing, and right now online in non-food start to be, you know, much more important than the offline business.
What you can say about retail, what we see as Regioplan is that the brand awareness or the brand is much more important, and if you cannot if you do not everything to strengthen the brand, you are gone. I was giving an interview last week to an Austrian newspaper, and they asked me about the Austrian retailers, and I said there are no Austrian retailers at all. Well, maybe they are 3 or something, but that's what you also said in the morning, that you are very strongly working on the brands, on Billa, on Bipa, to make these names really strong brands, and that's maybe also a possibility to survive in the next years, to work on the brand awareness. And what you are doing, like sustainability and investing your money in social projects or in green buildings, so you are working on the brand.
Yes, this is like I said a few minutes ago, it's a question of trust, because brand is nothing. If Coca-Cola, like we said today, no, it's an excellent brand and everybody is aware of $200 billion or whatever, yeah? But why? It's the first question of the marketing. The second is a question of trust. You know, if you are going to the very exotic countries, extremely exotic, so you say, okay, there's some different risks which you can have it and so on. And you have 2 options. You can buy the local mineral water or bottle of Coca-Cola. What you are buying? What do you think most of the people are buying?
The brand they trust in.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, but this is okay. I think that we are not so far away from each other. You say you trust the brand, and I say you are aware of the brand, or you like it.
That's why I say, okay, this long-term sustainable strategy is extremely important, because this is something like, you know, a very trustful connection between the customer and the company.
Mm-hmm. One question, we have time for last question. If no, oh, okay.
Thank you. My name is Nada, and I would like to ask one question which is related to what you have presented.
Could you speak a little bit louder?
It's related to the special services. You showed us some examples from BIPA, from your drugstore, where you have a stylist and you have help for women who shop there, you know, to give them some advice and some help. The trends show that, of course, since we are talking about multi-channeling, that the stationary retail is losing its shares to online retail. In some industries, it is this loss is slower, as in food, and in some industries it is quicker, as in drugstore, for example, because of the nature of the product. When you decide to, and some retailers say that they actually have some sufficient space and they want to add some additional services, you know, to defer their stationary retail outlets from their online, because online you can browse products, and offline in stationary retail you need experience. So you are providing some kind of experience as well with that additional services. Is that a proactive approach, you know, to already work against this loss or to loss to online retail, or is it already a reactive approach, you know, to react to this, to a potential loss of shares to online?
Actually, online, you have probably also a lot of examples like this. Online, it's not really working very good without offline. Also, the online businesses which are very successful, which are selling the electro equipment, they are also working with the offline business. Only they are in the situation that they are working with not their own offline business. So that means that people are coming first to the MediaMarkt, Saturn, whatever. They are getting the right products, they are advised and so on, and they are buying then online, not on the same company. So, of course, we would like to avoid this kind of the cases that the people, let's say, we are not mostly not the non-food provider, but the food provider. But also in this case, we would like that if the customer decided to buy something online, could buy it also in our company. So this is not reactive, it's proactive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think that this was also our last word of the discussion, because in other case you must run to Vienna and your plane is leaving. So thank you very much, Janusz. It was a pleasure for me.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to the audience. Thank you very much.